This is Helen's Leather, and we've been here 53 years now. And originally the store was Walter Dyer Leather, which was before my parents bought it. And back in the 60s, I think I was only 17, I was going to Mass Art, and a friend of mine was working for Walter Dyer. He was a leather man that made the double ring moccasins in Lynn, in the factory, and he brought me a bunch of scrap, and I made a beautiful fringed leather bag for my friend, and his boss saw it and offered me a job.
At just 17 years old, Lisa became the manager of the store.
And my father spent his whole life savings and bought the store on a handshake deal from Walter. This was back in the 60s. Every store on the street was either leather or antiques. And I think there were 7 leather stores at the time. So we had 2. Helen's was at 91 Charles across the street, and this was what we used to call Walter Dyer and the Fry Boot Pen. And my dad was here and Mom was over there. And then eventually Father bought the business when it went condo, bought the building part of it. And so Mom moved in here, and we had the boots downstairs, and she was upstairs with all of her beautiful leathers. And that was the beginning of our dynasty.
Over the years, the Helen's Leather store would open 7 different locations, sprawling over western Massachusetts and parts of Connecticut.
So I've been working here for 42 years. I started working for Lisa's mother, who was Helen, who started the store back in like 1969. I started just as an everyday employee and ended up I became the manager.
Don't do that. Yeah. Can you listen on your phone, please?
Well, thanks very much, and take care. Don't let you know if you want those, because they go right away. We'll be out of them in 2 weeks. And this is the last store left. Everybody else has sort of gone the way of most retail now. The competition with the internet and Amazon is so heavy.
Because now you're not only competing against the internet, you're competing against your suppliers who sell direct to the consumer. So the people who you buy things from traditionally were there to support you. Now it's become somewhat of an adversarial relationship because you're competing with them for the same customer.
We spoke to David Karofsky, a specialist in the family business consulting field, about challenges that businesses face in the modern day.
So I have been with the Family Business Consulting Group for 7 years, been a principal with the firm for about 4 years. A lot of my clients are in New England, but I also have clients all over the country. The real primary work that I do is helping family businesses, and they are multi-generational family businesses. So it could be a G1 and a G2, but most of my work is probably with the G2, G3, and G4.
G1, G2, and G3 refer to the generation of family ownership of the business.
I know we kind of went over this a little bit before, but what would you say is the biggest threat to a family business?
Probably the family. What gets in the way sometimes can be the family, can be the family dynamics. There's certainly, like right now, right, some would argue we're in a bit of a recessionary period. Those are threats. I do know some family businesses that are probably going to have to close their doors as a result of the state of the economy. I do think the political landscape right now is a threat. It's creating instability in our system, which is impacting family businesses. I'll give you 2 examples. You look at the hardware store industry, you look at the Home Depots and the Lowe's, and they have definitely put out of business some of the smaller, local, family-run hardware, mom and pop shops. So that's been a challenge. Another one is in the liquor business. The big commercial conglomerate liquor companies that are coming in are impacting the smaller, locally owned family business liquor stores. Target is impacting small retail stores. Amazon is a tremendous threat to small family businesses because you don't have to leave your house and you can pretty much get whatever you want.
I mean, you work with somebody half an hour trying boots on, and then they take a picture of the box and go buy it online. I mean, we compete with the online prices for sure, and we beat them, but it's hard to be in retail now. Some of the companies that we used to really like dealing with are only dealing with their own internet now, so they don't sell to us anymore, which is unfortunate. It's kind of sad because we've been loyal customers for 50 years. But and the other thing that's difficult is a lot of businesses are making offshore. They're making things out of the country, and we used to try to be completely 100% made in America. But even Fry Boots, we were the largest Fry boot dealer in all of the country, and that was how we really started with the boots. Now fries are mostly made offshore, and it's a shame. We still carry the ones that are made in the U.S., but it's just that's a hard thing to do.
The COVID-19 pandemic also posed threats and difficulties for the store.
Very hard to get some items. The shipping was very difficult. It's a small store, and you've been here a little while, and you see how we get busy. We could only have a certain number of people in the store at a time, so we'd have to tell you have to wait because we are a small square footage. And but we lived through COVID. The thing that's hard is to try to decide where to go in the future, because I'm too old to really take over again, and my son is. My first generation of kids are all doing other businesses, other jobs. I have a chef and a president of a school and a realtor.
David explained to us that this is an occurring issue in family-owned businesses.
I think that we're seeing a generational shift from the baby movers down to the Gen X, Gen Y, et cetera, et cetera. And the younger generations are much more open to receiving help from people like me. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're coming to us more proactively. When they are coming to us, they're coming to us saying, hey, listen, mom and dad are getting a little bit older, or dad comes to us, or mom comes to us, whoever. Family member comes and says, we need to transition this business. We don't quite know the best way to do it. Can you help us guide us through a process that we can come to some conclusions on? Who should run the business? What should the roles and responsibilities be? Who makes what decisions? What's the role of an owner group? What's the role of a board? What's the role of management?
Despite the hardships, Lisa and his store are able to find support through community and loyal customers.
Oh, it's very nice. We have a lot of events on Beacon Hill. We have the stroll, which is really nice around Christmas time. People walk up, all the street is closed and the stores are all open at night, and we serve champagne and hors d'oeuvres, and everybody comes in. It's kind of like a big party. And that's on Beacon Hill, just on Charles Street. So that's a wonderful time. They have a fashion show, which we participate in every year, but we do have a lot of visitors from overseas. Lots and lots of faithful people that come over the years, and our neighbors and locals, and loyal clientele. So that's what's kept us going.
Anything that the community can do to support the sustainability and longevity of a business, I think it's great, whether they're supporting them through financial resources or supporting them through people like me and being able to consult to some of these businesses and help them in terms of from a philanthropic standpoint.
I guess we've had an impact on the neighborhood. I can't say we've had an impact on the city. It's too small an operation for that. But we're selling like second and third generation customers, people we sold in the 60s and 70s. Now we're selling their grandkids. And it's just become kind of the neighborhood cowboy store, as people refer to it. So I just think just through longevity alone, we've had that kind of impact on Beacon Hill.
I think it's needed, and I think that anything we can do and the community can do and the city can do to help these types of companies continue to flourish, I'm a huge fan of. Me, if I were to leave kind of a key takeaway, is that these legacy businesses that you're researching and documenting, and these family businesses that you're talking about, whether they're small or they're large, it's the lifeblood of our country. And I just want that to get kind of noted, because I think that's really important.
Just having a business 50 years makes you want to go another 50, but it's at the same time you're like, how do we do it? So hopefully we'll still be here.